Hey, so you see the title of this. We're talking about virtual millionaires. And long story short, you want the cash flow. So many of us want to have the $1 million right now so that it is there. But think about this. If you have $1 million sitting there and you're not gaining any extra money, you might think it's easier to then gain money. But when you look at it from another perspective, think about sitting and parking. Right, here's two scenarios: sitting and parking $1 million at 6% interest. That's $60,000 a year. If you do 11% interest, that's $110,000 per year. Now we're going to use the 60,000 per year, which comes out to 5,000 per month. I was hearing someone just recently speak about this, so that brought to my attention something that I spoke with my friend, and I'm going to bring it to you guys because I was already thinking about this. He took it from one angle. I'm going to take that and put it a little bit further. And this is Bank of Trading Value. The question you got to ask yourself today and every day: what are you willing to sacrifice for freedom? Now, let's draw this chart up here. We're going to use the handy dandy white. So we're going to have money versus time. We're going to have one over the other. So on the bottom, we got T for time. And on the top, we got this for the money. So all of these dots, all of these dashes will be like 1 year. Not made to scale, by the way. We're not going to make it made to scale. I don't even know how many lines we're drawing here. And each one of these lines right here would be the next 1 million. We're going to just talk to 1 million. Okay. Now we're going to keep that as it is. Now we're going to make a mini box right here, in the upper right hand corner, because I don't know how to 100% make this smaller here. So we're just going to use this as it is. Now there's the mini box. Drawing it one more time so we can have more of a square. Still a rectangle-ish, but here we go. Now let's say that again, you are here. This is you right there. You're the blue in the lower left-hand corner. Now, if you have $1 million and you're parking it in something that gains you 6% interest per year, that's $60,000. So each one of these would be $60,000, and you're going to be very, very small down here. But we're going to start here. That's 1 year. That's 60,000. That's 120,000, 180,000, and so on and so forth. And eventually you'll get there at $1 million. I think it's around, my math is going, right there. It should be like, 16 years or something like that. Let me take out the calculator. Anyway, with that being said, if we're looking at it like this, don't forget, as I'm doing the math here, yeah, it's 16 and a half years. So I didn't do this to scale. I just did it very quickly. But if you look at it right here where we're at, that's you going up. And remember, because you're getting extra money every year, it's going to feed into itself. So you got a 1,060,000, and then so on and so forth. So it's going to be before 16 years, but still. Now you reached an extra $1 million and doubled your money just by putting it in at 6% interest per year. But that's with cash flow. So that means if you get something that brings in an extra $5,000 per month, you are now what is called a virtual. And I'm glad that he brought up the name like that, a virtual millionaire. We're going to put virtual M because we don't have the space right here. Virtual milli. All right. So you have virtually the same type of power, extra buying power, because if you parked your $1 million, that's the whole thing. You're parking it. That means you're not using that million. So you got the million there and you're living on the residual interest, which means every time you get it, it's not going to compound. You're just going to live on the 5,000 per month, which is 60,000 per year, which is above the median income in the US if you are living there. So how does that benefit you? Well, how many hours we got in a week? Well, according to what I've seen, we got 1,440 hours per day, because that's 24 times 60. We got 10,080 hours per week. And I need to get my note to see how much we have. 42,000. I remember it offhand. It's 42,000 44,000 hours per month. It's a little bit more than that, actually. So 42 to 44,000 per month. So if we got that much, that means you're now freeing up all of those hours. You're freeing up about, let's say 900 hours, because we're going to talk about the waking hours. It would be 980. So instead of you doing something else, something has residual income. That means whether your effort is a lot or a little, it's still bringing in $5,000. That's the whole thing with Virtual Millionaire. So now I got to ask you, here's somebody that has the virtual millions, and then here's somebody that has a physical million right here in the blue. Which one would you pick? Me, I'm going to pick the virtual million. Now, this is not talking about trading, because you could say, oh, trading here and I can put it into something, but you can risk losing it. Because with this is what's coming in every month. Okay? This one is already residual. This one is parked there and not moving. So that means anytime you use part of that money, you're taking a risk. This is not risky, while this is risky. Just because you got $1 million does not mean you can't go to zero. Just like there are billionaires that go broke. But if you have residual money, that gives you power. Now, how do you get there, as the title was alluding to earlier? And I want to make sure that you all can see this screen. Yes, you can. Now, you get there by creating a product or a service, but you want to create something like a wealth circle, right? You want to create a wealth circle that it feeds into itself. All right. All right. And here is the money in the middle. So you want to have something here that leads to another product or service there, and a product or service there, and a product or service there, and a product or service there. Think of it like this. When you're buying a video game system, let's say something like a Nintendo. So you got the N for Nintendo, or M for Microsoft. We're going to switch up to Microsoft. Well, Microsoft, I'm glad I did that by accident, has Xbox Live. You're paying extra money on top of your regular internet. Notice, Nintendo and Sony don't charge extra money, but Microsoft, as I call them Moneysoft, they charge you extra money for Xbox Live. So we're going to put an L for Live. Okay, but then you're buying something here, which are the subscription services, because you said, I want to save money on video games here, so I'm going to buy a subscription. Okay, I don't know why this thing is doing that. A subscription service right there. But then some games you do buy, right? So you buy some games, and guess what? All of these games, including the subscription ones, but they can be, switched out and, deleted and whatnot. These games, we're going to put it with G. Now they download so much because they're online. Many of these are online only type of games. So that means when that game is there and they got a server, they got updates, they're having you download gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes. And guess what happens? Your system runs out of memory. So now they have you a Microsoft, or in this case, Xbox branded hard drive. So now you buy an extra hard drive. I'm going to put an H for hard drive. They have gotten money off of you on 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways right there. Think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways. Let's say that you're not even getting the games because you got the subscription. You're saying, hey, I pay $10 or $20, $30 a month. No, $60 a month on the subscription. I can get any games I want. Plus I pay the Xbox Live. What is that? $30 now. So you are giving them $90 per month just off of these two, but you're still potentially running into the memory issue. So they got you on 4 out of the 5. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to maximize. So they have you in their ecosystem. That's the whole point. That's the type of product or service that you want to create. Now you're getting a value. Okay. For you, you're getting a value. The Xbox Live thing, I don't even know how they could justify that value unless they say, hey, the servers are here. And, some of the game companies, I think that's what they claim. They get part of that money, but it'll be so small because think about how many games people could spread out. Now, So other than the Xbox Live, which I can't fathom how the end consumer can make money, the subscription service, you get a service because you're there for entertainment and video games. So you get that value, they get a value. You get the games, you get a value, they get a value. You get the hard drive, You get now got the value because of the hobby that you want to do, or in this case, the professional game is what you want to do. You want to play video games, so that comes with the territory that you're using an online main service, online only or mainly online. It's going to take up memory, so you get a value by having more memory, and they get a value by having more money. All right, you want to create something that has multiple value funnels. Right now at Bank of Trade and Value on the Discord, there are 2 tiers. There's one for $30 per month, and there's one for $100 per month. The person that is at $30 per month but yet can't afford $100 per month is more likely the beginner. The person that is starting out there, they're not sure, or they want to test the waters to see, is this guy telling the truth? Is this information there? And then once they get themselves leveled up, they're saying, hey, I'm making this XYZ amount of money. Now I'm going to go from tier number 1. And now I want to go to tier 2. Now, you aren't both paying for both of them at the same time, unlike how Microsoft has Xbox Live and you buying games or whatever. Okay, cool. You're not paying for both at the same time, but what you are doing, and that's not even including, hold on, that's not including, we're going to use another one, their store, where they have skins and other things that you can get. So we're going to call this S and T for the store. You might have your avatar, you have the skins for the avatar, you might have books that you buy off of them because they allow you to buy books on their Xbox Live store and everything like that. I kind of went through at one point a few years ago. Now, getting back to my example, tier 2, so I got the 30 and then I got the 100. Now, obviously, there are perks and benefits. You could read that yourself. I'm not here to advertise. I'm using it here for an example. Then you got what I currently have. I don't have anything yet in between that will keep leveling you up. See, my value to you is you pay the $30. What you're going to do is get the skill set because it's geared toward helping so many people at once. What you're doing is you're getting a value that's somewhere between $30 and $50,000 at minimum. And then depending on where that goes, then you start getting to $300,000 and $500,000 of value. And what I would essentially charge you is 10% of that. That's where I am going there. It's still building. So therefore, right now it's about 30 to 50. My goal is to get it to about 30 to 300,000 to 500,000 in value. I do not have anything here. So we're going to put a P for placeholder. And then the level up from there is the one where it's 40,000. So we're going to put a 440 and then K. So right now I have 1 and 2, don't have a third one. And then there's number 4 as far as that. And then the lead up to that would be a book. A book. See, the book then goes there. Then somebody will get this. If when I develop the course, because I said once I get to 1,000 subscribers, that's going to be used to then develop the book in the course. Then I'll have a book to a course to this, to that, to that, to that. And that's how I get a value. But at the same time, the person that is purchasing that is getting a value. Because if I break down how I'm breaking down here and I get you more specific, because this information that I'm breaking down here, if this is valuable to you, it's going to resonate and they're going to say, wow, if he's doing this here and that's his free stuff, what's going to happen with his paid things? And he's actually going to be specific, more specific on exactly what to do. That's how you want to leave a person. Wow, if this is the preview to the game in the case of Microsoft, wow, I wonder what the game is going to be like. And other people are saying it's good, including paid people and, media sources and everything like that. The trailer is good. So let me either go buy the game, or when I sign up for the subscription service, I can get the game anyway. And then when they're in the game, remember, microtransactions, let's put another box here for an MT, microtransactions. Microsoft may get a small amount, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just doing under the assumption that those microtransactions, some of that goes to Microsoft. Okay, I might be wrong. But at the very least, that's more money coming out of the people's pocket. And microtransactions, a lot of them, you can't really justify it too much. There are some free to play games that have actually done a very good one, and they took out the gambling effect. They said, we're not here to rob people's pockets. We're here to provide a game, and we like the way everything is here. So they actually cut it out. I forget what that one game is, kind of like Halo or Call of Duty or whatever. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, these are all different ways that people can make some money. So let's take this out right here. Actually, let's do this. MT for microtransactions. I'll take a screenshot for myself. And then what I'm going to do is erase all of this. Now, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. The next thing I'm going to do here. All right, hold on. I got a touchscreen monitor. So if you hear that sound, that is me erasing as hard as possible. So you want to create the wealth wheel, the wealth circle, instead of sitting there and saying, I'm stuck in this cycle. That's why I'm arguing that the virtual millionaire is the pathway that you want to go forward. The virtual millionaire, because if you got your $1 million parked and you're living on 6% of that, you are now setting yourself up for this next level. Matter of fact, I'll pause it and erase it here. I like to walk everybody through things as we're on a live stream, but it's okay. So let's start you off in the blue. We're going to be the virtual millionaire square. Okay. This is the first step of where we are, and it has green in the inside. So unlike where we're starting out kind of empty, we're going from that to virtual millionaire. All right, we're starting from this corner to virtual millionaire. Maybe it takes 1.5 years. Maybe it takes 2 years. Maybe I could shortcut that where you could figure out by the end of this year, right? It's June of 2024 when I recorded this originally. If you guys are listening to it 2, 3, 10 years, 100 years in advance, that's what it was. By the end of this year, you should be able to figure out with the information that I provide you guys inside the Discord and on here, how to get $5,000 of extra residual, some people call it passive, income per month. Now that's virtual millionaire, VM. Then we got the next step up. Actually, let's do it here. That took a little while. And in that same amount, now you have I'm almost there millionaire. I think some people call it cash flow millionaire, right? But I'm going to say almost there millionaire. Why? We're going to put ATM. There you go. You go into the ATM cha-chinging right there. So we're going to put this in purple and fill it in with green. What is the almost there millionaire? I'm going to do the video on that next time on how to get there. So this is a part 1 of 3. The almost there millionaire. This is 5,000. Okay. This is 5K per month. This is $84,000 per month, which means you're going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, except minus bills. So it's not going to be exactly 1 year. And then we got the physical millionaire, PM. All right. So we got the VM, ATM, and PM. We're going to fill that up. And this is the one that has $1 million liquid. Okay. $1 million liquid. We got each one of these steps as they go through. Okay. You got the virtual millionaire step. Then we got the almost there millionaire step. And then we got the the actual liquid millionaire step right there. All right. So once we are already there, what happens next? Well, your life has changed already at step number 1. Why? Because you now have freed up an extra few hours of your day. Out of that 1,440 hours, and you got about 980 of waking hours, 980 waking hours roughly. You've probably freed up a 200 or 300 in that week, if not more. What if you were making less than that now? Couldn't you quit your job? What if you were making slightly more, but now you brought in an extra 5,000 per month? You could either say, I got this extra 5,000 per month. I did it for a year. Now I got 60,000 extra after taxes. You take out that money, obviously, but before taxes, it's $60,000. I got this. Can I live on it? And that's the whole pathway. You're living on it. All right, let's up that. Now I created a second opportunity. I am making 10,000 per month. Okay, maybe I can quit my job now. Half of it I can use and live off of it. The other half, I am now saying, hey, that's my extra amount of money. If I need to go back to work, I can go back to work, but I'm not going to rely on it. Now I have all of these hours. First, it was 200 to 300, 200 to 300 extra hours to think per week. Now I got an extra 900 hours plus 900 plus hours to think. Let's erase that. I wish it would allow me to type. So now I got an extra 900. I got to write it nice and slow. Hours to think. Why? Because if you replace your job completely, all of that time goes back to you. Where if you did this while you're working a part-time job, imagine when you're not working a part-time job. You got more time to relax because you're working to work. You're working to figure out how to get this 5,000 extra per month of residual income, but you're also working the regular job. And remember in a previous video, I said that more time doesn't mean more money. So it doesn't mean replace all of that time that you had at that job into this, because if it made 5,000, yeah, you put more time, all the exact time that you had in that other job, you would think, hey, it's going to make me 4 or 5 times as much because I only spent 2 to 4 hours, 1 hour per day, and I got this. So if I give it that 1 hour plus the full 8 I had, or even 8 or 9, because I was driving to work, driving back, if I put it in that time, cool. And it might only make you 10,000 for all of that extra time. So then we got to think about efficiency. You have time to relax your mind. Money, when it gets to form wealth and riches, that's in the form of time versus money. Again, if we take this, we're going to do the last thing. We're going to put it in red so it's easy to see. If you're over here and these are years and years and years going by, and then you finally get to $1 million by the time you're retired, and you're at the age of 75 or 80 years old, and you finally got $1 million, right? You finally have $1 million, and it took you 40 years to get there. That's $25,000 per year for you to live on. Let's assume that you say, hey, I might live to about 100. What if you live longer than that? And you say $50,000 per year. I've been living on $25,000 my whole life. I deserve to do more. Okay. And then what happens if you live to 100, or you got a feeling you're going to live to 100? You got health problems that you didn't have when you were younger. So the cost of your living has to go up. It has to go up because of that. Now, if you took care of yourself particularly well, it might not go up that much, but it has to go up. Then we got inflation that goes there, and that increases it. So it took you 40 years to get there. That's not rich. Now, if you did it in only 4 or 5 years to get to $1 million right here, this is actually it right here. You get to 4 or 5 years to get to $1 million. Then the next time you got another 1 year, now you're at 3 million. See, it's measured in time, not necessarily the money, because if the money you still get to $1 million, but it takes you 40 years, you're not actually wealthy. You're not actually rich. But if you do it in 1 month, you're rich. Right? If you do it in 1 year, you're rich. You are 40 times, 40 times richer than the first example. What if you did it in 1 week, 1 day? You are now richer and richer and richer than the first example here. $25,000 per year. Some people in some countries that listen to this, that may sound like a lot, but it is not a lot of money. Try to do some big move. Man, your iPhone's going to take a percentage of your budget right there. If you bought a brand new iPhone in your country, I have a good audience that's in Africa. We got a lot of people in Europe, specifically Germany. That's where we got it. In Eastern Europe, we got Eastern Europeans that are on the channel. And then we got another section that are out of Africa. So if we took Nigeria, for instance, and then we got the Americans, of course, because that's the base. But if we took Nigeria, for instance, $25,000 per year, actually, you would be living, quote, good off of 21 to 22. But if you got 25, you think, hey, look, I'm balling, I'm good, I don't have to do anything. But then you try to travel or something like that, or economic recession hits and you don't got that extra cash flow that was coming in there. It could quickly go belly up overnight. You want to buy a car, $25,000 a year to buy a good car. Well, you got a good enough car, right? But you might want to do something better than that. 25,000 is not that much. That can be gone very quickly, even in several countries in Africa. Now, try to move to South Africa. Not happening. Try to go to Seychelles. Mauritius. Mauritius. Try to go to Mauritius. Try to go to, Senegal. Dakar. You are going to go broke on 25,000. You won't even be able to sit and stand with 25,000. If you're in, depending on the area in Nigeria, 25,000 is, quote, good money. But the wealth is not measured in the amount of money, but the time in which it took you to get there. So you guys, if you like the information here, you guys know what to do. The question you have to ask yourself today and every day is, what am I willing and what are you willing to sacrifice for freedom? Are you going to sacrifice 40 years of your life to finally get to that $1 million, to get to that, quote, freedom at that point when your body's aching and aching? And if you're older here, okay, cool. But most of my audience is most likely going to be in their 30s or under. There's going to be some at 40s, but from what I found, most of the audience is 30s or younger. So are you going to sacrifice the next 30, 40, 50 years to finally get there? Or are you going to sacrifice a good portion of, say, let me think and let me act 15 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours a day? And I can do that over the next and leverage this internet, leverage the connections I make, leverage the university, leverage the government contracts, leverage some of the business connections I make, leverage the time that I have, that somebody that's already there thinking they're a baller with $25,000 a year over here in Nigeria, somebody that thinks they're a baller making about 120, or no, better yet, they're making $250,000 per year and they're saying, hey, I'm a baller. They stopped thinking. They were thinking and hustling themselves up to get to that point, $250,000 per year. Somebody was hustling and thinking, hey, I'm a baller. I make $20,000 per month. Right? Because that's 240 in the year. So that's just under. I'm a baller. I make $30,000, $40,000 per month. And they stop at that level right there. 42,000, around 42,000. That's about $500,000 per year. And that will get you in the top 1%. Right there, if I'm not mistaken. That'll get you in the top 1%. I think it's $375,000 per year. Now, you can still go broke with that amount of money. But some people think they're a baller. And it's not like cash flow. It's attached to a job. The job goes, you lose your position, you decide to quit, the money is gone. Now, if you build it with your own cash flow, with that funnel that I was talking about, then you are free. Check us out. Check the description below if you want to get us for any one of those. But if not, hey, I don't blame you at all. Subscribe, comment, and share this video. This is just a part one. I don't know if I'm going to do it per week or if I'm going to do this day after day after day. I might spread it out per week and have the other videos in between. But this is part one of a part three. We talked about virtual millionaire first, and then the next video we're going to talk about the almost there millionaire. That's when things really change, at $84,000 per month. Peace, and I'll catch you all in the next video.